First off, we want to thank you for choosing to play your summer softball here with us at the City of Roseville. We understand that you have many softball options throughout the metro area, and we appreciate that you have chosen to play with us. So far, we have 115 teams registered over 6 nights of play and are excited with all of the leagues that we have to offer. The goal of our leagues is to provide a safe, well organized, sportsmanly, fun, and fair atmosphere to all of our participants of all backgrounds and skill levels. All policies and procedures here in this league are made with that goal in mind. That being said, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. My name is David Peters, and I'm the Recreation Supervisor in charge of our adult sport leagues, including our summer softball leagues here with the City of Roseville. I can be reached by either email or phone with any questions, comments, or feedback that you might have. My primary method of communication with managers will be via email. In the event that you do not use email, please let me know as soon as possible so that I know I need to contact you by phone or other means if any changes to our league are made. The league website is cityofroseville.com/softball. Your softball schedules will be linked on that site or can be visited directly at teamsideline.com/RPR. League schedules have been posted and are now live. Any schedule changes that are made will be posted on the league page. Additionally, if any changes are made, managers will be notified and emailed to inform you of that change. In addition, the league pages indicate updated standings and results for each game. We do encourage managers to check back often to let us know if there were any scores entered incorrectly so that we can make sure that we keep accurate tabs on the league. Games are scheduled to begin on Sunday, April 23rd, and each subsequent day, weather and field permitting. Each league will have a playoff for the top 8 teams. Brackets will be posted on the league page following the final game of the season. All teams are required to provide a roster prior to their first game. Rosters must include all players that you intend to use at any point during the season, including our postseason. Substitute players will be allowed during the regular season. However, only rostered players may be used during the playoffs. When selecting substitutions, please consider the skill level of your league and don't bring in quote-unquote ringer players who may make the balance of the league unfair. Teams who do not submit a roster will forfeit that game if they are protested against, and it will be reflected as a loss on their team's record. If games are ever in question, please contact our weather website that can be found on the league page or schedule page, or call the weather hotline at or after 4:30 p.m. Play or no play decisions will be based on the status of the fields as of 4:15 p.m., not based upon any forecasted or projected weather conditions. There have been several situations where forecasts have been wrong, in which 100% rain was projected, but skies indeed cleared and games were able to be played. If conditions prior to 4:30 p.m. dictate that fields will be unplayable, we will make every effort possible to update the weather website as early as possible to let you know if games will be canceled. Should conditions change after 4:30 p.m., the umpires on site will make the final play or no play decision based on the conditions of their particular field. In the event of after-hour cancellations, we will attempt to update the weather hotline as soon as possible, but cannot do so until we receive confirmation that all fields have been canceled for that particular night. Should rain occur, up to 2 weeks of rainouts will be rescheduled. Please remember that game time is the time listed on your schedule, and teams are expected to be ready to play at that time. A 10-minute grace period will be allowed for 6 o'clock games, but please note that 10 minutes will be removed from your total game time. That said, teams should make every effort to be ready to play at 6 o'clock p.m. A 5-minute grace period will also be allowed for all other game times. Remember that 5 minutes will be deducted from your total playing time. Once a team has 8 players present, they must begin and cannot wait for the 9th or 10th player to arrive. Games will be 7 innings long, with no new innings set to begin 55 minutes from the scheduled start time. Please note, if you must forfeit your game, please contact your opponent as well as our league office by phone as soon as possible. Nobody likes to show up for a game and not have a team to play. However, we do encourage teams to make every effort to field the team for each game so teams can continue to receive the same number of games. Injuries, illnesses, vacations, and other situations come up through the duration of the softball season. If your team is looking to add additional players or subs, please contact me directly, and I am more than happy to provide you with the list of free agent contacts. At that point, it is up to you as the team manager to contact the additional players and get them added onto your roster. Game balls and scorebooks for the entire season will be distributed on the first night of each league. If you have a scheduled game, they will be at your field prior to the start of your game. If you have a bye the first week, have a representative from your team stop by the pavilion at Victoria in between fields 1 and 3 at 6 o'clock p.m. the first night of your league. This will be the only chance to get your team's softballs and scorebook. Managers will be given a package of softballs containing 1 game ball per home game. Managers must bring a ball for each of their home games. If a home team fails to provide a new game ball, they will begin the game behind 3-0. Visiting teams should also be prepared to provide 1 used ball in the event that the primary game ball is hit out of play. For playoff games, umpires will have game balls ready at the field. Teams will also be provided a scorebook at their first game, and more information will be provided about that during later slides. Please remember, in accordance with the statewide USSSA standards, all non-wood bats must have the new USSSA stamp on them. The old text USSSA logo will not be accepted. Only the new stamp that is permanently stamped on the bat will be allowed. Bats must also be in an unaltered state and comply with the USSSA standard rule number 2. Umpires will be instructed to check all bats prior to the first game of the season. Bats with the new 2023 stamp will also be accepted. Beginning in 2024, all bats must have the 2023 stamp unless otherwise noted. Teams will be provided a scorebook prior to their first game. Each team is expected to keep book for each game. At the conclusion of each half inning, please confer with the umpire and the other scorekeeper to ensure that all 3 parties have the same score. In the event of a discrepancy, if it is caught at the end of a half inning, it should be easy to compare the 2 books to correctly assess what the correct score is. However, if errors are allowed to persist, it is often difficult to go back 2, 3, or even 4 innings to correct them. So please be certain to check with the umpire and the opposing scorekeeper at the end of each half inning. The primary focus of all of our Roseville adult sport leagues is to have fun. Teams are expected to demonstrate good sportsmanship at all times towards one another, their opponents, the umpire, and fans. As managers, please prevent your team and fans from getting into trash talking with the other team or fans or arguing with the umpire. Remember, you're a leader out there, and that the focus of these games should be on having fun and staying active. All umpires officiating in the City of Roseville adult softball leagues are expected to be USSSA certified. Teams may also reasonably expect umpires to be on time, that they will behave and act professionally, that they will hustle, and that they will also communicate professionally. This includes briefly and respectfully discussing calls only after time has been granted. Please note that it is unreasonable of teams to expect umpires to get every single call correct, to know every single rule inside and out, tolerate frequent complaints and or verbal abuse, tolerate comments about the umpire's integrity, or that they're personal in nature, such as, "Are they paying you today?" or "You're terrible." It is absolutely unreasonable to expect an umpire to tolerate complaints about balls and strikes. Overall, judgment calls are not open to dispute, and teams must learn to live with the fact that umpires will make calls that they will not totally agree with and must move on with the game. When interacting with umpires, please keep the following items in mind. First, only team managers or the player involved may discuss a call with an umpire only after time is granted. Discussions must be respectful. No shouting, gesturing, or profanity will be tolerated or allowed. After the umpire has given their explanation, the manager or player must return to their position or the dugout immediately. Please note, rule interpretations may be formally protested in accordance with the Roseville Parks and Recreation rules as found in the rule book, but judgment calls are final and not open for protest. The following actions and behaviors will result in a warning or immediate ejection if observed by an umpire. Please prevent players and spectators of your team from engaging in any of the following actions: continuous complaints about judgment calls, any player besides the manager leaving their position to dispute a call, shouting at an umpire, the use of profanity, the use of personal statements towards an umpire, threats or physical violence or taunting of any other player, spectator, or umpire, or continuing a behavior after receiving a warning. Per league rules, any player ejected from a game will serve at minimum 1 game suspension or possibly more, depending on the severity of the situation. Be sure to remind your teams to clean out your dugout and dugout areas before you leave for the night. Please ensure that no bottles or other items are left behind in your dugouts. A good rule of thumb to follow is to try and leave the area cleaner than how you found it. Additionally, please be respectful of the neighbors and pedestrians who walk through the parks. Make sure that team members are not using profanity or engaging in behavior that may make residents feel uncomfortable. Finally, please note that city ordinance prohibits the use of alcohol and tobacco in all City of Roseville parks. While there have been multiple Roseville revisions to the USSSA rulebook, there are a few rules that I would like to briefly highlight. The first of which being the home run limits allowed per division. The men's C division has a maximum of 4 home runs and plays with the +1 rule, which was implemented in 2016. Please note that only the C division will use this +1 rule. Men's D division allows up to 3 home runs, Co-Rec C allows 2 home runs, and Co-Rec D allows 1 home run. Understand that any home run beyond the allotted limit will be considered an out and differs from the USSSA rule. All leagues will use a 3-ball and 2-strike count with no courtesy foul. This means that if a player has 1 strike against them and hits a foul ball, they will be considered out. Players are not permitted to dig into the batter's box by kicking dirt out of the way as they come into the box. However, players may kick dirt around to even out the spot that they are batting in, essentially filling in holes that are made but may not dig into the batter's box. Please note that metal spikes will not be allowed or tolerated in our leagues. A courtesy runner will be limited to 1 per inning, and this courtesy runner must be the last person recorded out. In an effort to prevent injury and to keep players safe, the City of Roseville has clarified their double play rule. All runners must either slide legally or attempt to get out of the way of the fielder turning to complete the double play. For a slide to be considered legal, players must remain on the ground and slide directly toward the base. The image that is being shown on this slide will be considered illegal in our league, as the runner is not going directly toward the base and has his right leg elevated, not on the ground. This would be ruled an out for both the runner sliding into second and the runner at first base, granting the double play regardless of where the shortstop's throw ended up. Additionally, hitting the ball back towards the pitcher intentionally in an effort to intimidate the pitcher or the other team will not be allowed or tolerated. This can be referred to as lighting up or buzzing the pitcher. If an umpire is confident that the team is intentionally hitting the ball at the pitcher, they are instructed to warn and then eject the offender. This is considered a dangerous situation that could lead to severe injury and even death. Please do not allow members on your team to intentionally hit the ball back up the middle in an effort to intimidate a pitcher or the opposing team. As a gentle reminder, radios are not permitted on benches during official game time. Teams may play appropriate music during warm-ups only. Please avoid blasting or blaring music that may have profanity or be inappropriate. Remember, a lot of our fields are in surrounding neighborhoods, so please be respectful of the residents. Additionally, please take time to review all local league rules and share with all players. Any rule not listed in our local rules will follow the USSSA rulebook, which can be found online through the link provided. At the conclusion of the season, each regular season and playoff champion will receive championship t-shirts. I will be contacting each manager who is entitled to the shirts following the conclusion of the season to obtain their shirt sizes. The sooner I get your shirt sizes, the sooner you can pick them up and distribute them to your team. In conclusion, please remember that we want this league to be well organized, safe, fun, with an emphasis on good sportsmanship. Managers, I ask you to please be leaders on this and encourage your teams and spectators to follow suit. Keep these games in perspective, and while competition is important, we want to also make sure that all of our participants are having fun and staying safe. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions, comments, or feedback that you might have throughout the entirety of the season. Finally, I want to thank you once again for choosing the City of Roseville for your summer softball league. I wish everyone a safe and fun season. Best of luck, and I hope to see you out there on the fields. Have a great time. We'll see you soon.